Sometimes the noise around us makes it hard to catch the quieter moments that matter. This is 10 Better Minutes, a space for a few recent stories that offer a grounded glimpse of the world beyond the headlines. I am your host, Ian Rhodes, and I appreciate you taking a little time to listen today. We will hear about unexpected help arriving just when it is needed and families finding connection in the most difficult circumstances. But first, let us begin with a story about a community coming together to support one of their own during a tough time. Debbie was trying to hold things together after her husband died, but mounting bills and a property overgrown for years made every day feel heavier. When she stepped outside to manage groceries, an Uber driver named Zach noticed she was struggling and offered to help carry them. That small act of attention quickly turned into something much bigger because Zach reached out to Spencer from SB Mowing. Spencer and his father arrived with work gloves and a plan. For 2 full days, they cleared Debbie's yard, cutting through thick vegetation, hauling away multiple trailer loads of debris, and even uncovering an air conditioning unit that had been hidden under the overgrowth. As Debbie faced the practical challenges of getting her life back, Spencer also supported her beyond the yard. He and his team purchased items for a yard sale and then donated those items to Habitat for Humanity, helping her avoid the burden of running it herself. Their help did not stop there. Through SB Mowat Ford, they paid 3 months of overdue rent, giving Debbie immediate breathing room. Then, a fundraiser was launched, collecting more than $650,000. Donations were placed into a trust with Debbie as the sole beneficiary, providing support for medical expenses, dental care, necessities, and a future move when she is ready. It is a reminder that community can show up in concrete ways. One careful moment of noticing can become steady, lasting relief. It is a strange, hard kind of question, the one that asks what can outlast a goodbye. Today, we are looking at how one Michigan family turned love into something that kept moving forward. Once hospital staff contacted Gift of Life Michigan and discovered that Emily Matejevitz had already registered as an organ donor when she received her identification, Emily's mother, Becky, did not stop at the unimaginable decision her family had to make. Becky wrote letters to the recipient families so they would not feel like names on a form. And then her family hosted a graduation celebration in Emily's honor because she was 16, and she had always encouraged her teammates, always cheered for softball. Letters became connections. Every recipient family replied. People traveled hundreds of miles to be together, including Landon Coleman from Virginia, who received Emily's heart, and 4-year-old Ripley Farrell from West Virginia, who received one of Emily's kidneys. In the middle of the celebration, Becky placed a stethoscope on Landon's chest and listened for Emily, not as a memory, but as a living heartbeat. What stays with me is how practical care can be. The decision was made in a moment none of us would want to face, yet it opened a doorway to belonging, gratitude, and steady hope. Emily's kindness found a new rhythm, and her family found a way to hold that rhythm for everyone in the room. After a crash on a rural highway near Kelowna, British Columbia, a woman realized the scariest thing might not be inside the car, but just beyond it, where her Australian shepherd, Daisy, had gone missing. What happens when the clock keeps moving and you are searching with only hope to hold on to? Dira Jordan and her husband Sharon were struck by a pickup truck, and their car rolled over. Dira had small injuries, and the first responders encouraged her to get to the nearest hospital while she kept thinking of Daisy, with that tugging worry that follows you no matter where you stand. But when the emergency moment settled, the search did not. Central Okanagan Search and Rescue stepped in, and one member, Forrest Kellerman, and his wife Tracy joined after spotting a missing dog notice. They looked in the places a dog might find shelter and safety, while Dira and Sharon kept searching too, trying to cover ground and stay connected to every possible lead. And then the wider community showed up in the practical ways that matter. People joining the effort, providing a thermal imaging drone and bringing hot meals to keep everyone going. 96 hours after the crash, Tracy returned to search and found Daisy nearby, calm and close, sitting on the passenger seat area in the place they kept circling back to. When Dira and Sharon were finally reunited, it was not just relief, it was hope made visible in a reunion that felt like the whole community had been watching for the same happy ending. When a stormy gust can turn an ordinary day into a problem at sea, it helps to know that people show up for one another. This is a story about teamwork, quick hands, and hope that refuses to stay out of reach. Last Sunday afternoon off Northumberland in northeast England, Bruce, an Alsatian, was swimming near his owner while the two of them used an inflatable kayak. A sudden wind gust dragged the kayak out farther than anyone expected, and the alarm was raised right away. Coast Guard crews from sea houses joined the search, working through the open North Sea for hours, with Bruce carried along until he had drifted about 3 miles out. After about 2 hours, a tour boat joined the effort. Captain Jimmy Reed spotted the kayak floating in the North Sea, close enough to act, but not close enough to waste time. One attempt to secure Bruce with a harness slipped away, and then crewman Aaron made the decision to go straight to what would work. He grabbed Bruce by the scruff and hauled him aboard. Once Bruce was on the boat, the rescue turned gentle. Towels came out immediately to warm him, and then the boat headed back toward shore. When Bruce was reunited with his relieved owner, the hours of searching faded into something simple and good. Hope can look like a lookout, a steady vessel, and hands that stay calm. And sometimes, that is all it takes to bring someone back safely. Every so often, a story arrives like a breath of fresh air, reminding us that the way people treat one another can quietly matter more than what we think we might find. Here is a glimpse from international soccer fans traveling in the United States for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. One Scottish visitor in Boston expected the trip to feel tense, even imagining aggressive police and the kind of hard edge that news stories can suggest. Instead, they found something simpler and steadier. The welcome began with strangers who were curious, patient, and eager to share their city, their routines, and their excitement for the matches. Across coastal places and small towns in the middle of the country, visitors described friendly conversations, helpful directions, and a sense that they were more than just guests passing through. The article also points to Lawrence, Kansas, where the Algerian team has its home base, as one of the vivid reminders that support can be local and real, not just symbolic. And in the overall framing, the tournament starts to sound like a great American sleepover, a shared night of cheerfulness where people remember that joy travels best when it is carried by ordinary kindness. In a time when many of us worry about how the country is being perceived, these travelers offered a healing return message. They did not just attend games. They came home feeling seen, and they helped Americans remember who they want to be. As always, I have a simple grounding tip for you to help with your mental reset and make room for more joy in your day. If you have been finding yourself constantly checking news, refreshing updates, or letting breaking headlines run the show, today's tip is about switching from constant checking to fixed windows. Here's the idea. Choose 2 or 3 times a day to look at the news and treat those moments like appointments. For example, you might decide to check in the morning, mid-afternoon, and early evening. Outside of those windows, you make a quiet agreement with yourself that you will not scroll for just a second. This does not mean ignoring what matters. It means you are choosing the pace. When you set a specific time, your brain stops scanning for urgency all day long. You regain control of your attention and you give yourself a cleaner emotional boundary. Try it gently. Put your news app or website out of sight. Turn off notifications for updates. When the news window arrives, you can look, take in what you need, and then close the tab with intention. Your mind deserves to rest, and you deserve to live your life between headlines. We made it to the end of today's 10 Better Minutes, friends, and I just want to leave you with a quieter kind of hope as you head back into the rest of your day. Across all the noise, there are still people choosing decency, communities showing up for one another, and small acts of kindness that do not make headlines but still make a difference. If you have a good news story you think more people should see, drop a link or share what happened in your area in the comments. I read through those, and sharing them is a way of passing that steadier hope along. This is Ian Rhodes with 10 Better Minutes. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.